Hello, we'll be back shortly on Big Onion Radio after these short messages. Don't go away. Big Onion Radio. Glasses down.
Sorry, just when we're talking, do we look at each
Look
other?
at each other.
Yeah, okay.
Look at each other.
Gotcha.
So look at the camera every now and then.
Yeah.
Right, we can look beyond. Okay, he moves around a bit.
Yeah.
Right, he could be underneath you at some point. Well, not quite literally, but you know, he's quite agile as our Carl. He could have been a sniper, I reckon, in the 3 days. He wasn't going to be a cameraman, he would have been a sniper.
I get it now. This is why you got them to sign the nudity clause.
The nudity clause, absolutely, but it's only bottom half.
That's okay, I'm alright with that.
It's all right.
This
It's
is
all right.
probably the best half to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think some of us have got different opinions on that.
Well,
Well, have you? Well, I don't care about your opinion.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Big Onion Radio, community radio, coming to you from the heart of the community here at the Big Onion in Bootle, Strand. We're all about people and place. We're supported by the National Lottery Community Fund, and we're all about community, lifestyle, business, culture and health. I will learn that off by heart one day, but I'm still having to look at the sheet. So this is all about positive news. It's all about helping people. It's all about bringing people together. And we've got a super guest today. We've got Bryan Walsh from Merseyside Expanding Horizons. And we're going to be talking to Bryan in a minute. But first of all, it's kind of New Year for us, but you might be watching this in a few weeks. So Happy New Year to everyone out there. Chris, Lizzie, how are you both?
I'm all right. I mean, I'm cold.
well, it's making a sit up, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's making a sit up. I don't want to actually move my hands because they're actually frozen together. But yeah, we're all good, Tim, thanks.
Yeah,
Okay, we had a perilous journey to work, all of us, I think, this morning. So keep warm out there, folks.
Yeah, but I got the train here. I thought, I love that Merseyrail train. Nothing wrong with it. Sit on it. Love the fact that I get to look out from Southport to here, all that greenery, all out on the fields, do a bit of work, then roll on into...
No leaves on the line, Lizzie?
No, there wasn't
Yeah.
any, though. There was.
So we're
Moved out of my way.
beefing up Merseyrail here in the beautiful scenery in Sefton,
Oh,
which
so
is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's
right.
22 miles of coastline.
It is, and I'll come to that in a minute. But anyway, our email is radio@thebigonion.co.uk. Please get in touch if you want to come on, if you want to get involved in any way, if you want to tell us what you're doing in the community, get in touch and we will share your news as well. We are all over social media, but please like and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube. Let's get some momentum and let's get that positive news out there. So, we like entertainment here. We like having a bit of a laugh, our quizzes. We also want to inform, connect, assist, develop skills and support enterprise. And it's all about opportunity and aspiration. And that's why we've got Bryan Walsh here today from Merseyside Expanding Horizons. Bryan, how are you today?
I'm all right, thank you very much. Yeah, doing all right. Cold, but we're doing good.
And I know you're busy today and you need to be away later because you're saving the world.
Life in the fast lane.
And Bryan is really, really funny. No pressure, Bryan.
Oh,
Keep cracking the jokes. Yeah.
Oh, there you
This
go.
guy is a hero because he's doing a lot of stuff to do with employment initiatives, particularly for young people, and also the Youth Guarantee Trailblazers, which a few of us are involved in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with this question, and then these two will start coming in with all the interesting stuff. So what is the Youth Guarantee Trailblazer, and why is it important?
Okay, well, the Youth Guarantee Trailblazer, there's a lot of concern nationally about the numbers of young people between 18 to 23, 24 who are not doing anything and are not in employment, education or training, so they're called NEET. And what the government is keen to do is to try new ways to help these young people. I mean, we've been working on this problem, if you want to call it a problem, for many years, but it's just trying to find new ways that can connect with young people. The Trailblazer is great because it gives us the chance to try some things, see what works, see what doesn't work so well, learn from it, and then potentially roll out what works. So we're really delighted to be involved. There's 35 of the projects. We're all part of a consortium that's been brought together by VOLA, which is a local voluntary sector, community sector organisation. And yeah, we want to do our bit and just try a few things and see what works for our young people.
Can I just ask, right? This
Yeah.
this is across not just Sefton, but the whole of the Liverpool City.
It is,
region.
yeah, absolutely. The wider region, yeah. So we're focused on Sefton, yeah.
Now, just as you say, this is an ongoing issue, this idea of 16 to 24-year-olds. This particular project is aimed at 18 to 21.
Yeah.
And again, people may be familiar with the term NEET, not in education, employment and training.
Yeah.
We've had COVID recently. There's a lot now about people struggling with mental health and things like that. There's obviously a lot of big obstacles.
Yeah.
So have you kind of got a free approach to just see what works and refine, or is there a particular pattern that you need to follow?
I think it's about getting a combination here. I think if you just go and do the weird and wonderful without any kind of thinking or basis for what you do, that's just going to end up being like, at best, an enjoyable project, an interesting project. You've got to think about what can actually be delivered and sustained. So we are going to be doing a lot of stuff that you might say is traditional support. But around it, we want to try new things. When we thought about this Trailblazer, we had to decide what can we bring to this that's unique maybe to the Big Onion. And something that we've learned over a number of years is that our young people, many of them, not everybody, but a lot of them, they don't have a good view of work. And therefore, they don't necessarily have a good view of employers, and therefore do not have a good view of themselves and what they offer. So our Trailblazer is about three things. We want to give the young people first-hand experience of what working life could be like and how they could fit into it. We also, secondly, want to give them experience of working with good adults who are role models for them. And we've got, yourselves, the trader community working out of here and also in Southport. And then the third area is just looking at the broader needs that these young people have, around their confidence, self-esteem, and maybe some very practical mental health related needs. And just that's the focus. And as I say, we thought, well, what do we bring to the table as a place, as a community? Let's get our young people in here. And once they're mixing and they're rubbing shoulders with people who've actually been on a quite similar journey in some cases, what can that do for them to give them a sense of, I've got something to offer and I need to offer. So everything that we put together, got an 11-week program, which I can tell you about if you want, but it all kind of comes back to those three things: how they view work, how they view themselves, and the broader support that they need.
Can you say that, if you want to label it as a problem, has been around for a while? Have you noticed that the sort of issues that they're coming in with have changed as well, or has that always been sort of an underlying common sort of thread throughout?
Yeah, I think there are common threads. I think the other thing we've got to acknowledge is people talk about this expression, this label NEET, not in education, employment and training. There's a danger that you think, right, they're a million miles away from everything and they're just not interested in anything. That is not true. It's a very broad category. There will be young people who will meet, and if given the right opportunities and experiences, suddenly it will turn in an instant for them. I believe that. Yes, a lot of the problems are not new. I mean, I was first dealing with NEETs nearly 25 years ago. And ideas do have a habit of coming around. But I think it's a difficult world for our young people. I think, that the mental health issues are very, very real. I think we live in a world where, if you're not keeping up, it's a struggle. And you can become very disengaged quickly. So
Yeah, and I think I would think that a lot of people, even if they're in employment, would relate to that, about not being able to keep up. I think there was an article just over the weekend, because obviously people post their New Year's Eve plans, their New Year's Day plans, or where we are, we're abroad or we're in a bar or doing whatever. And a lot of people just sort of sat at home going, well, I'm not there, my life must be terrible. So do you think that's sort of that thread of social media and how heightened we are to it now certainly can't be helpful?
I think it can be unhelpful. But, I also want to be optimistic.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think there is a danger, oldies like me think, young people, they're finding it hard and it's going to be a struggle for them. I'm expecting and hopeful that as we start to work with young people, there will be a bit of an optimism in there that we hadn't credited. And, I do want to do something. I'm not just deliberately trying to disengage with everything that's going on. I think we'll see some light switching on. And I think that's what our role is. It's to introduce people to new ideas and see themselves differently.
If I can just jump in there, there's what the Big Onion is trying to do in Bootle and in Southport across Sefton is connect people.
Yeah.
And this again is about connecting people, isn't it? I think it's very hard to make that first step sometimes, isn't it? These young people they've left education. There might be a period now where they're sat at home, they're not really doing a great deal.
Yeah.
The world of work seems a million miles away.
Yeah.
What better place sometimes? Just getting the we're in a live here, right? There's an opportunity for them to, whilst they're in the shopping centre, to pop in and chat to yourself and to Lisa and to Shannon and Nick and the others and so on, and just take that first step, which can often be the hardest part, right? Can't it?
I think that's right. Absolutely.
And I think for lots of us that might be in that situation, I think it's always good to see the face first. So as much as sort of social media sometimes like being a little bit of the issue, to actually have your face out there online, so that people who they don't actually seek to, and that sometimes like lowers the barriers straight away. And, knowing what the place looks like, where to go, and that's one issue or one sort of area of their day that they can be less anxious about.
So
I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and there's cross opportunities as well, isn't there? You're not the only. Merseyside Expanding Horizons isn't the only provider in the borough.
Well, that's right.
And the council are involved through their Sefton at Work programme, so I know there'll be discussions with them as well.
Well, that's
but also
very refreshing,
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, sorry,
no,
got across you, but actually, the Trailblazer, the way the projects have been set up, we are able to collaborate in a very, very genuine and practical way. So, it's about doing the best individually as organisations, and then collectively we can support the young people. But there's none of this, they're with us, they can't be with you.
Sure.
Which that's been the reality for quite a few years. So it's good to be able to genuinely collaborate.
You've got quite a nice catchy name for it as well, haven't you?
Launchpad.
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 You heard it, nice that AI could come up with.
No, actually, that wasn't AI. Well, it was slightly AI. But the name is deliberate because we just want to give people that sort of launch. Maybe it's not the start of the journey, but it's just something that gives them that boost. And then they think, right, I'm ready to kind of move forward into whatever area. So, Launchpad.
And it's interesting as well. I think, the introductory sessions is very much getting people in.
Yeah.
Icebreakers, calming people down, reassuring people. Some might really run with it. Others might need a while to come out of the shell. They're going to be speaking to other people in enterprise and business.
Yeah.
They're fitting into various systems, and you're going to try different things. And at the end of it all, you can review it and say, right, what went well, what can we improve, and hopefully this can go forward. But the government are putting money towards this, aren't they?
They are. I mean, this current project, all the projects at the moment, we're running to the end of March, and then we're hopeful to see what comes after that, and then maybe even in future years. But I think it's a crucial one, this, to get a sense of what direction do these Trailblazers need to go.
And how did there's two groups you're working with here in Sefton, so in Southport and in Bootle originally, they're the first two.
Yeah.
And how did these people find you? Were they referred to you, or did you find them yourselves?
We have engaged with a range of partners like Career Connect, Job Centre Plus, who we've sort of shared the vision and the schedule for the 11 weeks, and they're out there going to refer young people to us. But we're literally picking people up who are self-referring. Got a few emails in over the Christmas period. A couple of people coming in today who said they'd like to join, so we'll see them later. But that's what's great, isn't it? Well,
the first step.
Yeah, new year, new opportunity.
It's got to have an energy.
Right.
I think it's got to have an energy about it.
Yeah.
And if we've got that energy and we transmit that energy between us, it will be infectious, actually.
Definitely, because I think there's nothing more exciting than entering into something where you've got, right, so the opportunity to meet so many professionals in the industry already, all bringing with them totally different ideas, different techniques, different ways of working.
That's right.
And that in itself is a huge opportunity
Yeah.
that they may not have either experienced before, or might just need a bit of a reminder of the skills that they then have.
Am I right to drop a name?
If you want to.
Yeah, so we've got Vinci Construction, who've obviously been very involved with us in the past here at the Big Onion. We're meeting them on Friday because they've said, look, if you've got young people who want to experience the world of construction, and obviously there's a whole bunch of work going on here at the moment, they'll actually take them on site and just get them to meet people. And the power of a young person meeting somebody within a sector who can actually just break a few myths for them and say, you know what, this is what it's really like. And actually talk about what motivates them to get up in the morning and go to work. You can't underestimate the impact of that. Our friend over the road, the manager, Mike at B&M, he did just that with a bunch of our young people in the previous project. And it had an incredible effect. It put work in a good place for a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it brings it to life. And I was going to add, in terms of the Vinci experience as well, we in addition, to the activity on Friday, we've got a young man who's on an apprenticeship with Vinci who will be coming in once a week to talk to the young people of the program. So, again, he's a 21-year-old local lad who, again, went through school and college, and has come out. He's got an apprenticeship there. So, that peer sort of mentoring, that, they can actually see somebody that looks like them and talks like them and has got similar outlooks on life, I think is really powerful.
Yeah, incredibly, because I think for a lot of sort of young people, I know I experienced it, and, even myself, high schools are incredibly supportive places. They run sort of after school clubs for help, going up to GCSEs, there's all sorts of classes and extra this. College can then be a little bit of a drop where you're not getting as much support because you need to now be starting to learn yourself. And obviously going into university, that sort of helping support drops off again. And after being so supported, I think a lot of young people could just go off and just be there like, oh, I wasn't prepared for being able to support myself, support my own learning, and actually being ferried across through this education sort of sector before they'd even thought about, well, actually, do I want to go into construction? Do I want to actually do something a little bit more sort of hands-on? Or do I want to continue with higher education? So I think it's a great opportunity.
I think what we've also got to recognise as well is, the role of the family, the household for a lot of these young people. It's been a very difficult economic climate, not just for a couple of years. I mentioned COVID. We had the crash in 2008. It seems like certain communities, not just in Sefton, but across the Liverpool City region, have found it really challenging. And you've still got very, very high pockets of unemployment and worklessness. So that experience, that understanding of the world of work, which, my dad as a steel worker passed on, and our parents, passed it. That's missing, that link's missing sometimes. And so we've got to recognise that as well, that lots of these younger people have no experience of the world of work and perhaps don't understand how it works. So it's a massive step, Bryan, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is really. And there's an extent to which we have to trust the process. We have to have a belief that if we can involve young people, we're talking about young people here, we can involve them as part of what goes on in our Bootle and Southport Big Onion communities. We have to believe that there will be a positive effect in them.
And there's been lots of positive outputs already. Lots of young people who've come through similar programs that you've delivered. And are now, not just still in work, but moving on with their careers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So indeed. One of the things that I was sort of an idea that's sort of story in my head, and you talked about sort of people coming in with some mental health issues, stuff like that. We're very much talked into following your passions. If you enjoy your job, you'll go to work a day in your life, that kind of thing. But that's not always the case for 100% of people. Absolutely. So part of the sort of experience, I suppose, is breaking down the fact that you can enjoy every day and instead find something to support your mental health and once you leave work. So whether it's, exercise, do you enjoy, drawing, what is your passion that gets you through those sort of dull, darker, harder days. And I think that's maybe not talked about enough. A lot of it sort of the propaganda is that go and find a job that you're passionate about and, you know, wield this amazing life and everything you read perfect.
Yeah.
Well, even if you are incredibly lucky to be in that category, there's still days where the deals you go through, or there's still a day where actually your family's struggling a bit, or there's other stuff going on.
Cool.
What is it that you've put in place to support your mental health anyway?
Yeah, good call.
And sort of, you know, you can't always be a passionate day. You know, you've got to have other stuff around it as well. That's what makes your life, rather than your job being the only thing that anchors you. And I think that's incredibly important. Part of what I know you raised.
Yeah. It is absolutely.
Absolutely. I think schools have got a big role to play, and I think that the government as well, I think, needs to be a bit more flexible with the curriculum in terms of helping people earlier on and saying that not everyone fits this one size fits all up to 16 approach. That's another argument entirely, but I think schools have got a big role to play. But also I think social media, people are so isolated now, and I think that one of the big things with certain groups and vulnerable people is if someone's not very pleasant to them early on, it can knock certain people a lot more than others. So I know people who, you know, water off a duck's back. Other people, something doesn't go right. Oh, that's a hitch, that's a problem. And I think these programs can help people to deal with that kind of thing a little bit more, and also put people in contact with the right role models who are going to help them. You know, I think that's absolutely essential.
Well, dare I mention the 3 C's, and I will be brief.
You
He
mentioned
grows into.
I love
I
it.
say the 3. No, you don't. But you're very tolerant. 3 C's. Which,
I'm so interested. What
right.
things?
Well, over the last few years, and we did some work with an organisation called Windmills a few years ago on their ICANN project. It's got a lot of really good stuff in there. But one of the things that we've adopted from that is the 3 C's, and it's kind of 3 phases that we want to take our participants through, whether it's Trailblazer, Launchpad, whether it's some of our older clients, which you might want to ask me about in a minute, because we think they make sense. The first C is about create, as in creating a bit of a vision.
Yeah.
And it's not for the rest of your life. So I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, okay? But you've got to have an idea of what could I do, what would I like to do, what you were just saying, Lizzie, really. And then from that creation stage, if you like, connecting with the right people and who can help you move that vision that you've created forward, you know. And I don't know about you guys, well, I do know about you guys, but opportunities for me have come through connection. And certainly over the last few years, you know, I mean, you know, applying for something, sending in an application, going for an interview, most of it's not been like that. It's been a conversation. It's, I think you should talk to so-and-so. All right, well, let's have a meeting, chat it through, see where it goes, and then, and there. But the most important C is the last one, which is contribute. And I found this really compelling because it basically says, why do we go to work? Why do we do what we do? It's not just a self-serving thing. It's about making a contribution. And I do think, I would say this, but I do think, that we all need to feel that we're contributing. If we don't think we're contributing, I think that doesn't do any good for us in mental health as well. We think, well, why am I here? What do I offer? And contribution is about, fulfilling a desire in yourself. But it also, cleverly, is about a responsibility. You know, we do all have a responsibility to make a contribution, whatever that may be.
Know, taking that,
we've got to find that
one stage. But, you know, one of the things when you meet people for the first time, and you do the pleasantries, you know, hi, my name's Chris or whatever. The response back is, oh, so what do you do, Chris?
Well,
and so, you know, it's just in us, isn't it? And we've got a role to play. We've got a part to play within our community. And it's not just about me. It's about, you know, what I'm doing to support the business that I'm working in, the town that I'm working in, the community that I'm working with, my colleagues, my supply chain. You know, you feel part of them. It's like a cog, isn't it, in a watch?
And I think that's one of the things that a lot of employers probably need to recognise within their staff, or what the staff themselves feel that they are contributing and how that affects them back. There's some people, it might be the fact that they like to feel valued through words, other people feel like they're contributing, you know, because they just get their wage packet and they're more than happy with that. They go off on their merry little way. There's lots of ways that people can feel that, feel like they're contributing and how it impacts.
It's essential. It's essential. I mean, you know, you're recruiting somebody for a role. There's a lot about that role that you can teach them, you can train them. But the thing you probably can't change is the personality, the characteristics of that individual. And that's what makes the difference. I mean, we have met people here who applied for work at Expanding Horizons, and they've been great candidates, and the skills and experience have been like, oh yeah, they're going to be amazing. And you meet them and you think, oh dear, they're not going to fit in. They're going to wind everybody up. And that's an important message to get across to young people who are not in work at the moment, to say, look, there's a lot about you that you offer. You're not just a set of skills and experience. You are an individual who can make a contribution.
And that's massive. So I worked for quite a number of years where I had trainee teachers from universities come into my classroom, and on day dot you knew straight away whether they were going to be able to do this as a career or whether they were doing it for a different reason. And it becomes, I think, I don't know whether you noticed it, but there was a huge shift between teachers that were going into it to be career teachers, wanting to ladder up quite quickly and move through, and those that were fully in it for, not saying that those weren't in it for helping and supporting and teaching, but there's two very different personality dynamics at play. And I think that in itself is such an interesting thing. I never really thought about how a better rep of someone's personality one could inform what career path they're probably more suited to.
Well,
This is massive, this. Do you know, we've touched on so many stuff, so much really good stuff. And without getting too philosophical, Aristotle used to write about what makes a good life, what is the good life. I think that I read a book recently with a guy who said the most important thing is to know yourself. What do you want? How can you better yourself? And who can you work with to get there? And I think it's huge that the things we've touched on, if someone is in a job or something they don't like, there are choices and options. It isn't easy. And people have got different needs, but feeling valued and part of something, I just think it's massive.
It's
you know
huge,
what I mean?
because I think if you were to really get people to be completely honest with why they've left jobs, it would come down to that. You're feeling valued, they might use other excuses like financial pay or wanting adjacent areas. All that. But it comes down to the fact that in their heart, they weren't feeling valued in the way that they wanted to.
Absolutely.
Bringing this round to, again, Merseyside Expanding Horizons and the Big Onion, right? One of the cornerstones of what we're trying to achieve here is to connect people, right? Connect people to each other, right? To information and to opportunity, right? You know, that is what we do on a daily basis. And I think the approach that's been taken, not just with the employment programs, but the skills programs, the enterprise programs, is to give people, you know, that open opportunity to let us know, you know, what they're interested in, what makes them tick. We don't just push them into something straight away. You find out who is this person, who is this character. You know, it's learning. It's not like sausage meat, is it? You're shoving it through the machine just to get the output, right? This is about creating something.
And I think, you know, I've been in the world of employment for a few years now, and I think if I was going to admit where have we been weak in the way we may have approached in the past, it's that point of getting somebody to say, right, we think you're ready. You've got to go for this now. You can, with the best will in the world and best intentions, find yourself almost protecting the individual from themselves, and that's not doing them any favors. And when and that's why I like the whole contribute idea, because actually it carries this sense of you need to find your contribution. You have a responsibility to do that. And I don't want to put people off coming into Launchpad before we even really got going. But I'm looking forward to some challenging conversations. As in, well, why aren't you doing anything? You know.
Really turning the left.
I'm paying tax. Why aren't you? Because you could be. You know,
Contributing. Just not on day one though. No, not on day one. When they've been in an hour, we'll have that conversation. I'm sure Carl will be able to put our email up at the bottom of the screen. We are supported by the Lottery Community Fund Awards for All. I think this is all what we want to be about, contributing and helping others. So radio@thebigonion.co.uk if you want to get in touch. Also, the Big Onion details will be in the notes. You can pop into the Big Onion. Now, you might think we're just saying that. This morning, a gentleman appeared at the door and asked about help in starting a business. And Chris took his details and said, I'll get in touch with you because we were doing this recording. People can walk into the Big Onion and ask for help. You can get help with CVs, all kinds of other skills. This is a genuine social enterprise moving people forward. Now, are you involved in a few other bits and bobs as well that you want to tell us about?
Yeah, we have funding also to support people who are economically inactive. It's another label, but I mean, this is a broader range of people going right up into their 70s who are inactive, and in the sense of, you know, they're not in work. For some, it may be for health reasons. The issues are similar though. And it comes back to the 3 C's, if I dare say them again. And actually, speaking with somebody maybe who's had a number of years in work and has had to leave a job for health reasons, or somebody who's had other things that have hit them in life, and again thinking, right, what could a journey to work or towards work look like for you? And again, it comes down to creating vision, connecting with people, and then starting to think through what that contribution might be. So we're just involved at the moment to the end of March in the Paths to Prosperity programme. And that's funded through the UK Share Prosperity Fund. Again, a whole range of partners around the city region are involved in that. And that programme has proved itself as very necessary. You know, the results that have come out of that programme have surprised everybody at the combined authority and elsewhere, which is great. So there's a lot of work still to be done with that sector. And I do think the voluntary and community sector has got a unique part to play in this. I mean, and it's about finding the best of what everybody brings to this. But I think, sharing what we all do is key.
Absolutely. And the combined authority above Sefton Council, Liverpool Council, there's a combined authority across the city.
That's right.
And then you've got the national government, and they're all buying into these things because it is important. And I just want to say, and again, without trying to get too philosophical, I think there's meaningful work out there for everyone. And I believe that everyone, you can talk about the social model of disability even, that often society disables people because those people can't access things. And I think that the work the Big Onion's doing is key to getting people closer to the work that means something to them. And I think it's a massive thing. And I think it will just make the whole of society a much better place.
Well, you could take the view that any job is better than no job at all. And I don't agree with that. The trouble is, if I say I don't agree with that, then it's almost like I'm encouraging people to be fussy, and I'm not. But what I do believe is that we have a responsibility as organisations, if we're doing this work, to help get people to find the right fit where they can make that contribution. If you're in the wrong job for you, it's potentially damaging.
Absolutely. You'll feel like a failure, you will switch quicker, there'll be so much more consequence from that. Than, like you say, just going for it.
Well, that's right. And that's why it's so important to understand the individual and say, where could you fit? Where could you play your part?
That's true in life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Not everybody's going to be your friend.
No.
Right? Not every social environment is going to be something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Right? Not every pastime that you're involved in is somebody going to be good at.
No.
Right? So, it's a bit of trial and error on occasions, isn't it? And I think
you've got to be prepared to fail, actually. Or not afraid of failure.
Oh, absolutely.
And
if
you can
within
and if you run your own business,
afraid
to fail, because it happens more often than not. Right?
Oh dear. You've had to look over the glasses there. That's the moment of wisdom.
It's the moment of wisdom.
That's a school teacher moment.
Do you know what? We'll have to obviously get you in when the project's up and running a little bit more. I think it starts next week, which is, to the people watching this, it's going to start mid-January. We'll come back again and tell us about the structure and what's been.
You're doing the first week.
Yeah, I'm doing the first intro.
Like, you need to be
I didn't want to blow me on red,
Well, I'll blow it for you. If this guy fails, we're dead.
I am. But we're going to talk about this again.
well.
We're going to talk about this again. Lizzie's involved. The big Liz is involved.
Yes.
And we'll work with different businesses.
And wouldn't it be great as well, Tim, is if we can get some of the young people on who've come through the programme down the line. I think that would be fantastic.
Indeed.
That's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah.
Now, here's where we just pivot to the regular features, which tend to be a little bit of humour involved. So, Bryan, I think you'll fit in. Now, Bryan, you need to shoot it, Bryan, just to...
Well, I'm all right for a minute. I want to hear the humour.
Put your...
It's not that good, boy.
No, it's not that good. It's just,
It's more the fact that we just laugh at us.
Yeah. But I do want to say that there is 22 miles of coastline in Sefton. There's
22.
and also,
The clipboard.
going back to episode 1, Southend has got a longer pier than Southport. It's over a mile long, but there is a south element to that. So, if your town begins with south, you tend to have a long pier, but more on that later. We're going to do true and false, and I'm going to tell you about 3.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
I'm going to tell you about 3 famous Sefton people again. You might want to take that out, mate. So,
No, leave it in.
It's not bad, you can do what you want.
see these things in, and then later I go, you left it. So, if you're still watching, folks, actress Miranda Richardson was from Sefton. Did you know that?
Do I know who that is?
Miranda Richardson.
Miranda Richardson.
What's she been in?
On TV
She
and film.
was Queenie in Blackadder.
Oh, no, I know who that is. Oh,
Very
okay,
versatile.
yeah.
I said it's
Yeah.
actually Sefton.
And
Not
also,
very good with names. Just
Well,
an FY to be behind.
just going back a bit before your time, Lizzie, as well. Soft cell singer Mark Almond is from Sefton.
No, he's not, is he?
Yeah.
Tainted Love.
Tainted
I'm glad you
Love.
said that because I didn't know who that was either.
Okay.
Which is phenomenal. Again, a bit of 80s, but also you might know this, gents. Classical legendary West Ham defender Alvin Martin.
Alvin Martin.
Oh, Alvin.
I did know he was from Sefton.
Yeah.
Alvin. Yeah.
Great.
So there you go. And also Sefton is home to the Grand National and HC race course. We've got the Open Golf Championship at Birkdale. Any golfers here?
Yes, I go every year to the British Open.
Do you?
So we're looking forward to the Birkdale July 2026.
All in
Got my
Sefton.
tickets already.
And
Tickets already.
for New Year, I gave Dan Kirk a set of Everton golf
Oh,
balls.
lovely, Dan.
Everton golf
A
balls.
new set of balls for Dan for 2026. So he'll be at the Open with that. You can take that one out, Carl, as well. It's a bit like the pantomime. I went to the pantomime the other day with young kids, and some of the jokes were like, whoa, that's heavy. So yeah, a bit of a
no, you
pantomime
didn't.
feel today.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah, and the Open there. So the Open, I think that's quite a coup because all the *1 golfers from all over the world come to Birkdale.
Well, and also, we've got Tommy Fleetwood, haven't we?
Yeah.
Who's a pro at Formby Hall, isn't he?
I who say yes.
Yes, I think that's the case. I could be wrong. I know he's got his own parking space there. That's probably because he's quite important. But he'll be in the field, and maybe we might have a local winner as well this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, place I want to draw attention to for this month is the Atkinson, which is in Southport.
Yeah.
Now, we've referred to it as a library there. They've got a really good library there, a
do.
good kids section. They do activities for kids in the summer holidays. I've took my lad in there. He loves it. But it's also a theatre, isn't it? They have all kinds on. I went in there once, and Michael Portillo, who, a lot long ago, I might not have been the greatest fan of, but he does do a great railway programme, doesn't he? He was in there signing books. I went, oh, there's Michael Portillo. So you've got the theatre, he was doing a presentation there, but there's lots more going on at the Atkinson, isn't there?
Yeah,
there's a museum and art gallery there as well.
I've performed on that stage quite a few times.
Have you really, Lizzie?
I have.
Oh, very
Oh no, you haven't.
Oh yeah, but I have. I wasn't in any major roles, but yeah, my sisters also performed on it as well. I've grown up in Southport. I've done the sort of under 10s amateur dramatics and stuff like that, as well as performed. I went to Churchtown Primary School. The schools used to do like a dance performance every year, and then there was the dreaded recorder concerts. Oh dear. Oh, it's terrible. One year I laughed so much into that recorder you could hear the altitude from the back.
I think
I'm just miserable. I have a lot of talents, but
you have a lot of talent.
I have a lot of talent,
But not being a recorder player.
Not being anything remotely musical.
That's okay.
I can't.
It's not for
I'm good.
everyone.
I learned to let it go. Realised that it was not a skill.
The Atkinson, though, you're right, Tim. It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Building. I had a guided tour by the general manager a couple of months back. Dave Eddy, who's a super guy.
Oh yeah, it's nice, Dave.
He's a super guy, and you walk in, you've got, a lovely reception area. You've got the shop there selling, lots of local pictures, postcards and art and stuff like that, locally crafted. You've got a nice coffee shop.
Which is an inclusive employment coffee shop as well.
Okay.
They really help people.
Yeah, really nice coffee shop there. There's a lovely library, a children's library there. And what I didn't realise is when you go upstairs, you know, there's a mezzanine there with classrooms and offices which are rented out. There's actually 2 stages, aren't there? So there's the main stage, and I think when I was there, Elkie Brooks was practicing. She was warbling on the stage, so we had to be quite quiet at the back. But there's a smaller theatre area as well, which I think seats a couple of hundred people, which local Amdram organisations and community organisations can hire at very economical rates, bit of a blend there. And interestingly, and I was chatting to a couple of the officers about this, there's a really large taxidermy collection stored in the Atkinson.
Doesn't surprise me. I remember there being like a fox or a weasel at one point in one of their big displays.
Well, when you go in, Lizzie, it's quite spooky, right? Now, I don't know the origins of this taxidermy collection, but it's vast. Wow. It is vast. You know, there are all sorts of like animals and birds and this, that, the other, stored away, and walking through it, as I say, it is quite it's quite an experience. If anybody's looking for any taxidermy, give Dave Eddy a ring at the.
I saw Mark Thomas, the comedian, there a few years ago, and they've also got a great art gallery. They have local artists, but they also have a lot of international art there as well. I think there was a Warhol or a pop art exhibition a few years ago, which was fantastic. And I take my lad all the time. He likes looking at all the pictures. The museum's great. You've got that boat that was found that's 1,500 years old, that was found near Crossings from Anglo-Saxon time. It's got a picture of the first house that was around Innsblundel, which is about 9,000 years old.
Wow.
It's all Sefton history, but again, international themes, loads about the lifeboat and the coast. It is a really nice place. There are some great places across Sefton, but the Atkinson really is a multi-purpose building with loads
I think maybe we can ask Dave, I'm sure he'd come on to talk a little bit more in detail about the Atkinson, you know, and all that it houses and all the opportunities for local people to get involved. I think that would be really good. Because it is a jewel.
Choir on there. Clay.
Okay.
There's loads going on. I also had a coffee outside a couple of summers ago with my lad, and we got a coffee from the coffee shop, sat outside after we'd been inside, and was talking to a few people, and there was people getting on a little bit who come from all over the country and stay in the hotels and walk around Southport. And I just think it's great to see so much going on in the community. And again, when you live in it, you don't always know it's there.
No, you don't appreciate it either, I don't think.
I love the Atkinson.
I don't think you appreciate it. You know, it's such an imposing building, isn't it?
It's the power of place again, isn't it? You ought to go in there with an open mind. And just absorb what's going on around you. That's powerful for a start.
Absolutely.
And I think just because we're touching on that area and it is a new year, kids going back to school, if you go through the Atkinson and into the back, there is an arcade, and in there is is it like a clothing bank, but it's called clothing. So again, you know, you can go in, you can get yourself jumper socks for all of the schools across Southport.
Yeah, that's in the Cambridge Arcade, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So
sure.
There's a nice bike shop in there as well, isn't it, Dan? In the arcade behind the Atkinson, where I've had my bike repaired. I saw Dan in there a few years ago. He's been in enterprise for years, this guy, changing the community. But that's all great stuff. Now we're going to move on to something a bit grimmer now, and that is dealing with toxic people.
Why did you look at me, Lizzie?
And I think this ties into employability as well.
Okay.
Because I'm sure we've all been in jobs where we've had to deal with someone who we don't like, and we've had to deal with people in our family who we don't like, and sometimes people who you can't avoid who we don't like. And also the toxic person that's in all of us that can come out sometimes in certain situations about being aware of that. Now, we were talking about Mel Robbins before, weren't we? Now, Mel Robbins is a Canadian woman who does a podcast, and she's got the let them theory, which isn't about letting people get away with murder, but it's also about knowing what you're in control of and what you can't change about others, and just sometimes saying, let them get on with it. I'm not going to let them bother me. But there will be some people who go into the world of work and into certain sectors of life have to deal with a toxic person. That can scar them, and you can have a really negative kind of experience there. So just any advice really that you would have for people like dealing with toxic people or difficult people in your personal life, but also in the world of work?
I think from my perspective, it goes back to what we were talking about before about knowing yourself. So not necessarily looking yourself in the mirror, but are you a people pleaser? Is that your personality type? Are you more of a person that, walls off and ducks back, and it really is? Or are you a person that says that, but actually the water seeps in, those comments seep in, and they do actually take an effect, but it's a slower effect. I think to begin with, before you can start to know how to handle the toxic person or toxic people in your life, you need to understand yourself and how it affects you.
Triggers.
And what your triggers are, because I talk about this a lot on my Studio 9 Instagram, because Mel talks a lot about putting in a boundary. Put a boundary in. If there's someone that's doing it, put a boundary in. And for years I just was going, what's a boundary?
Yeah.
What does that look like? And if you are sort of a people pleaser, or you do feel sort of a little bit more emotional than the average, like sitting in that uncomfortable, once you've put in that sort of boundary, that barrier around that person, can feel incredibly uncomfortable if you've not got somebody to talk to about it. But that in itself can be quite triggering and quite jarring, because you thought, oh, I'm not 100% sure I'm comfortable having now put you at arm's length because I don't know how to deal with it. So you've got to know, rather than just pushing the person away, going, right, shut her down. I don't know why I'm pointing at you. You've got a lovely relationship.
Yeah, shut him down. Best thing you could do.
Shut that down, yes.
Right
Pull that
down.
down.
Turn
Put a blanket over my head.
It's the next step, to be honest.
Yeah. There are times it's like as well.
Can you do it? Can you, if I have to, we're gonna role play it.
We're gonna role play this.
We're gonna role play this now. Yeah. Literally being there, like, in my life now, if I had to shut you out.
Yes.
And had to put in that boundary, how would I actually go about our day? How would we carry on this podcast? There has to be a way of navigating it in order to be in a comfortable, because that's how a lot of people are dealing with it. They're in a small office like this. Somebody's doing their head in. It does, you go, oh, don't want to cause a fuss.
Yeah.
Don't want to be I'm the woman in this scenario, very much so on this couch. We've got a lifetime of being the annoying one, the Karen, whatever it is, whatever name you want to list. She's overly emotional. She's causing a fuss. It can run reverse. Men can have those connotations to them as well. But I'm just going to talk about it as a woman's perspective. They're all of the words that are thrown at us. Calm down, love. Smile. It might ever happen. All these phrases that are just thrown at you on a regular basis.
It's very personal, isn't it? It's very personal, and I don't think there are lots of people out there who are giving us the benefit of their experiences, and perhaps this lady you mentioned, is one of those. I will check her out. I don't know. For me, I think as I've got older, I've realised a lot more that, that I'm a bit Marmite. People who've been like me. And there's people who like me, there's people who don't like me. And doesn't matter what I do, perhaps, sometimes, I'm not gonna change that.
But does that hurt your feelings?
I think, it perhaps did more. I'm an emotional person, as you know, right? I cry at Lassie films, for goodness sake, right?
This is what Stu actually.
Actually, I don't think I've seen the credits roll in the Lassie films. I've just been bawling my eyes out.
Your poor wife.
If you don't know what Lassie is, Google it.
Yeah.
Great show back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. or for that matter, Little House on the Prairie. Just go there.
Yeah.
But I think it used to bother me more, and I do have a tendency to worry sometimes about things, and I find I really struggle with that. I think as you get a little bit older, and you understand who you are, and that there are people out there who don't like you, and it's okay not to like them or whatever. I don't know. You're never going to avoid these situations either, are you?
No.
Right? And I think, as parents, some of us, right? That we want to shroud our kids from that, don't we? We don't expose them to that, and hear this phrase now about over-parenting, and I think, you know, to a degree, I've been guilty of that with my three, because you don't want to expose them to some of those uncomfortable situations where, you know, they're put on the spot, or they're put under pressure, or they feel threatened, or this, that, the other. It's really, really difficult. I think genuinely though, and it tells you so much, and with this broadcast now, right? Broadcast. That sounds so 1940s, doesn't it? Good evening and welcome to the news. But I think, you know, we're talking about it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Something that didn't happen years ago. Blokes in particular.
Yeah.
You know, you guys, you girls,
we
seem
talk about it
much,
all the time.
yeah, you seem much better at it. We're rubbish, right? But it's okay to talk about these things now, and you know, there's lots of fellas out there in the world of sport, or in the world of the arts, or whatever, who are coming on TV or on radio or through the media and talking about it's okay sometimes not to be okay, and it's okay to say, yeah, I'm struggling with this, that, the other. Yeah, there's a lot of support out there, but it's a very personal thing, coming back to what I said at the start, and there's no one size fits all.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the time over the years, it's actually coming from sports. You know, the term banter. Oh, it was just banter.
Yeah.
And they're going, yeah, but sometimes bites is a little bit. Actually, it's a bit harder.
Listen,
I'm not happy to accept that as just banter.
I had many years in a rugby changing room, right? It was X certificate, put it that way, right? But yeah, if you didn't have a strong backbone, you were going to be picked on to death. And you saw lads crumble, you saw lads leave and whatnot, you know, and I think that's now, we're more aware of that in the workplace, we're more aware of that in education. You know, there's a lot more pastoral support in schools and colleges and universities, right? And in the workplace as well, you know, there's protocols out there, right? And we're not going to eradicate all these issues, but I think we're much more attuned to it, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we are, and I think something that I've learned the hard way, and it's taken too long to learn it, is how building a tolerance in you towards others, it's not a weakness. It's helpful in terms of protecting yourself. We can only see what we can see, and somebody who is, they're toxic. There's no doubt about it. But all we can see is what's observable, and we'll just see the behaviour. And more often than not, there's a story behind that.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, to understand the story doesn't mean you excuse the behaviour necessarily,
Good call,
but it can help you to think, right, well, you know what? They make me feel terrible when I'm with them, but I know that they've got a lot going on. And it's just helpful to try and build that tolerance in, or a bit of an understanding. Not that you're suddenly going to become their best mate overnight, but just that you'll find it easier and you'll know how to be around them a bit more and protect yourself, which is very important.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think there's a lot of my sort of experiences in the first world of work was just a case of going, well, I'll just work hard then. I'll just try and, you know, I'll show you that I'm amazing. I'll show you that I can do this. And that wasn't what I should have done. Instead, the boundary setting, they go, well, actually, that's not in my job description. Being able to actually go into some of these sort of powerful careers, I think, for a lot of people. It's what you'd worked towards, it's what you wanted to be, it's what you went into sort of shape. And then being like, oh, I'm still not either good enough, or actually, that's not important. They just wanted somebody to come in, do it, and off we got.
Do you know, I think we're going to come back to this issue again.
It's really important.
All I would say is, from my angle, is keep calm and carry on is my little motto with that. And it's okay to tell someone, to say to someone, I prefer it if you didn't speak to me like that, really calmly, even in front of other people, because that just shows that you're being assertive. I think another thing as well is explaining your boundary and saying, listen, maybe I've got this wrong, but here's my little boundary that I'd like. What do you think about that? And I've tried this with someone quite close to me, and he hated it because it worked. And then they went, yeah, okay. But it's not perfect. And I've done a bit of work on this. We'll come back to this again in a bit more detail, because we're going to move on to true or false, because Bryan's got to shoot soon. But I would just say about toxic people, it's not, you can't change other people, but there are things that you can do to manage the situation better. And we'll come back to that again.
Yeah.
Anyway, true or false? I'm getting 5-2 here.
You get
I'm not
5-2. Yeah.
So here we go. The population of Sefton is over 325,000. Is that true or false?
I think I know this one.
Well, that's good because my brain's having sort of
I think
fit.
I think it's true.
Okay. You going with that?
Yeah, I'm going with
Yeah, I'm going with it because if he says it, you probably read it.
Well, it's apparently just over 275,000.
Oh, wow.
Although you could argue that 325,000 is over 275. But I'll take that one for a 5-3. So there's over 275,000 people, Seftonians, living in Sefton, which is great, isn't it? True or false? Sefton has got 66 councillors in the council government.
Hang on. Well, there are 3 per ward, aren't there?
Yes.
Right? There are 3 per ward. So we're banking on, if my maths is right, there's 22 wards.
Yep.
So that's pretty about right, then, isn't it?
I think we've got to say.
I think I think that's a true.
I'm a massive people pleaser. I'm going with the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Correct. There are 66 councillors in Sefton, 22 wards, and we've got 3 MPs, Southport, Central, Sefton Central, and then the Bootle area. So well done, you lot. Not. And finally, the gross domestic product, the total production of Sefton in 2021 was £6.5 billion.
Wow, that is a really tough. That's a finger in the air one for true or false. GDP of the borough.
So what did we say to say Bath is a false, true?
Is this the last one? Yeah. It's likely to be true, isn't it? So we go out feeling,
Well,
yeah.
Not that I've been on a quiz show, but I've been told when you're given a question,
Yeah.
you've got to create that suspense. So you talk about that question.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so.
If you look at the
Is that
business.
high? Is that because Bootle to me is just a figure, and that was at the end of a COVID year. So is that?
You've got just under 8,000 businesses in the borough of Sefton. You've got, the biggest employers are the council and health care, social, adult health care, that sort of stuff. So is that number high? It's a great question.
Well, I just.
Are they just one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
True or false?
Be aspirational, Chris.
You think
I'm going to say true.
Should we fall in behind that?
Go for it. I've done that as being follow me leader style.
True.
It's false. It's 5.4 billion. But I have been a bit sly there to try and get the score back to 6-4.
You have been a bit sly there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, yeah. Toxic almost.
Yeah, I know. I'm setting a boundary.
You've got
I do
6
not
points.
like the way that made me feel.
Yeah. Do you know,
I'm offended.
I hope you're all right with this, but I've just created a bit of a boundary and you're just step aside.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's so funny because some people take boundaries too far. You've got to be careful.
Which of that way is too far?
But anyway,
how you set a boundary.
you've got 6 points, which divided by you two is 3, and I've got 4 now. So 6-4. Not that I'm keeping the score.
He answered the last one.
Yeah, just to stitch us up.
I could have divided it more. Now, I think we're going to finish it there because Brian needs to go. Now, we were going to go next door. So, Carl, do you want us to kind of do the finish now? And then you put in the Nando bit if we say we're going to go next door to speak to someone special? Well, we'll be back after this.
These messages. Don't go changing. Don't go changing. We'll be right back.
So like that, he used to say that, didn't he? We'll be back after these short messages.
Yeah.
By the way, your 1940s voice was boss, mate.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the news.
This is the family. What in the news?
Cathay.
I've never met people who actually speak like that. It must have been in the 1940s. Are you still recording? Yes, it's going to be in the shorts.
It'll be in the shorts, yeah. Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to Sefton News.
Well, one of the things that I did
Right.
going out there.
I'm going to try. Want to let you. See you later, mate.
Thank you, Brian.
Ta-ra.
Superstar.
Ready?
Perhaps we should actually... No.
Right, we're just going to go next door to the Big Onion to have a chat to a few people there. So we're going to see what it's like in the epicentre of all the culture, business, enterprise and everything that's good about Sefton.
Here we are. Let's
Back
go.
in a minute.
Yeah.
Ding! Hello, we'll be back shortly on Big Onion Radio after these short messages. Don't go away.
What, suddenly wants to start a business?
And she wants to come back to take it, she's not excited.
No.
Paris at the gift now. Should we go along?
Stay there for us against him.
You've got the printer there, haven't you? You can get your photographs on the slate. These pictures over here. Oh. No, that's boss. Here you can buy new guitars as well, which is really good.
I took them off and put back the originals, and I didn't have the time to turn them in properly. So even they. So was one guy who cracked it. They say every single bag.
Vintage toys.
I like this. There's enough. Something else whenever you ready. Jumped on the moment, that.
Yeah. Jojo is the name of the shop. Who are you?
I'm Jo.
I'm John. What do you do here, Joe?
I sell and make. I make wax melts. I sell bath bombs. I sell I forgot what they're called. Reed diffusers, bath bombs, whipped soaps, gel waxes, anything that makes your house or yourself smell nice, really.
Cool. And how long have you been here in the Big Onion?
I've been in this one since it opened, and I was downstairs for 2 years as well.
Excellent. And what do you like about the Big Onion, as well as the people who come in the community? What does it
We're
offer
all
you?
as mad as each other. I don't think there's one sane person of us in here, but we're a great bunch. Support each other. If someone's got a problem, someone will try and help them out.
Yeah.
The help from Merseyside Expanding Horizons themselves has been fantastic, spot on. There's always a voice, there's always someone you can speak to. They've helped me a lot in many ways, not just through work, but in other ways as well.
Yeah.
So they've been really beneficial, and I think for a lot of people who would think, me included, when I first started doing this, I was doing it from home.
Yeah.
And it was again just I walked past and then I walked past again, and I thought, just jump in. And then I met Chris. Bit of a wait because he was on holiday. But I met Chris and he just put me firmly on the floor, like anybody can do it, you've just got to commit.
Right, here's the coffee shop. You can get a little loyalty card as well. They do great drinks, a whole range of stuff, and some nice foods as well. So they're quite busy at the moment. Here's the business support rooms where they do the courses. So it's a great space for people to come and meet, share ideas, do training, all kinds of advice available. And you can pop in and get an appointment anytime you want. Chris's office is over there. And there's always someone around who can help you and point you in the right direction. And just people who want to have a little chat and check in with each other, really. So it's a great space. Hello, welcome back. That was great, wasn't it? Wasn't that great?
Wasn't that fantastic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots
It's
of
so
good
good.
messages there, all those people. And, we want to be working more closely with those people in the future as well. Right, thank you too for coming on. Thanks, Brian, who's now disappeared because he had to go and save the world.
Busy guy.
Thanks to Carl, Dan, all the people behind us, all of you out there. Have a wonderful new year and a really nice 2026. Think about what you want to achieve in 2026. You know what the Big Onion is. Contact us on radio at bigonion.co.uk. Loads of links below. And thanks for your support. Cheers, folks.
Bye.
Bye.